The comic book artist Livio Ramondelli is the single biggest reason why I collect comic book sketch covers. If I have never met him at Emerald City Comic Con 2014, chances are I wouldn't be doing this video or collect comic book sketch covers.
Yoshi!
Hey everyone, thanks for joining me at the YOSHICAST. I'm Yoshi, and today we're going to talk about comic book sketch covers with comic book artist Livio Ramondelli. I first met Mr. Ramondelli at Emerald City Comic Con 2014. This was the very first comic convention I'd ever attended. It was also the first convention I attended since joining the Transmissions podcast. Finding out that Mr. Ramondelli was attending Emerald City Comic Con was important to me because I wanted a chance to interview him for Transmissions. Meeting Livio Ramondelli at Emerald City Comic Con was possibly the best experience I could have hoped for. He's one of the nicest artists I've ever met. His art is phenomenal. And for somebody like me who was kind of starstruck at the time and wanted to get my very first piece of original art, he really held my hand and walked me through explaining to him what I wanted and what I could expect. It was also at Emerald City Comic Con 2014 that I learned about blank comic book covers in general. Up until that point, I didn't even know they existed. And it was after I got my commission piece from Livio Ramondelli that I even found out that there were blank comic book covers. And the first one I bought was at Emerald City Comic Con, and it was a Transformers Regeneration 1 blank cover. It wasn't until the following year at TFCon Toronto that I was able to commission Mr. Ramondelli for a comic book sketch cover. I went to him with printouts and handwritten notes of what I wanted, and he was able to whip that out over the course of a weekend. I have learned the hard way that's not the best way to approach an artist regarding a sketch cover, especially one so detailed. But I got really lucky. Mr. Ramondelli is a crazy hard worker, and after I gave him that commission request on Saturday, he worked all night to be able to make sure I could take that home with me on Sunday. A thank you is not enough for something like that, because I had no idea what I was asking for or how much time it took. I've since learned other methods of approaching artists when you want detailed sketch covers, and we'll cover that in a future video for sure. Now, I found out this year that Mr. Ramondelli was attending Emerald City Comic Con, so I contacted him early on via email about what I wanted in a sketch cover, and I sent him pictures and detailed notes, and when I met him at Emerald City Comic Con, he was able to hand over the sketch cover completed for me. So in my email to Mr. Ramondelli, I asked him to homage the Dungeons & Dragons 1983 Red Box cover with this very famous piece of Larry Elmore art. Even if you haven't played Dungeons & Dragons, chances are you've seen this piece of art. It's pretty impressive and pretty iconic. In the email, I asked him to replace the fighter with Grimlock from the Transformers. I also asked him to replace certain treasure items on the cover with items from the Transformers mythos. But the biggest reason I wanted him to do this sketch cover for me is because Livio Ramondelli can draw a mean dragon. I really like his dragons. If you follow him on Instagram, you'll see that occasionally he posts a dragon from time to time. So that's the single biggest reason I wanted him to do this particular homage sketch cover for me. So let's kick it over to my Emerald City Comic Con interview with Livio Ramondelli, where we talk about sketch covers. Hey everybody, this is the YOSHICAST. I'm here with Livio Ramondelli.
Hello.
We're at Emerald City Comic Con 2017, and we're here to talk about sketch covers.
We are.
Dude, I am absolutely convinced sketch covers haven't reached their full potential yet. I think they can only go up from this particular phase.
I think so. I mean, we're sort of seeing more and more people request things on a sketch cover as opposed to a regular book or regular sheet of paper. So I do think they're definitely popular, but they could definitely get bigger for sure.
I feel like, and let me get my idea out here, but I feel like they're the only thing making a comic book collectible right now. It seems like about 10 years ago, my theory is about 10 years ago, so Marvel and DC, the big guys, said, all these second market books are selling for hundreds, if not thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
We got to get in on that, and thus we are now flooded with trades. Every 6 to 8 issues, we get a trade.
Yeah.
The books don't have a chance to make any money.
Yeah.
Then you get a sketch cover done, and this is a unique piece that's actually worth something. That's cool for a collector.
Yeah.
Aside from buying pages, this is the next best thing. And I just love comics. So this is the piece Mr. Ramondelli did for me. And this is homaging the Red Box from Dungeons & Dragons 1983, I think it was. And you rock this, sir. I wanted you to do this for the longest time.
Oh, thank you so much, man.
Because
you are excellent at dragons. You don't get to work on them
Thanks.
enough.
No, it's true. I never get to.
And you replaced the fighter for me with Grimlock and some of the treasured items from certain aspects of the Transformers mythos.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that just turned out awesome.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
And I couldn't be happier with this. The picture you sent doesn't do justice. Now, you flashed up some of your art for me earlier that you're working on torsos, full body shots.
Yeah.
These are conducive to normal sketch covers I see.
Yeah, here's like a swoop from Transformers, headshot in progress, and a shockwave, super early. Yeah.
Now, in the sketch covers I've gotten done, this is typical of what I see for people who do commissions at cons. This is not typical.
Yeah. That's true. That is definitely not typical, yeah.
This is, I think you're too polite to do it, but I think most people would say, I don't have time to do this at a convention.
I think it's hard. With the more elaborate commission in general, with the sketch cover or just paper, the more notice you give the artist, the better. Because sometimes it shows, or always it shows, you're so busy with juggling a lot of stuff that it's hard to really work on a really elaborate sort of commission, you know?
Yeah.
It's like your way is perfectly. Like, hit someone up ahead of time, pick up the commission at the show. If it's super elaborate, that's great. Like, that, everyone wins on that one.
So, let's talk about that a little bit. I hit you up well before the show as soon as I knew you were going.
Yeah.
I sent you an email what I wanted.
Yeah.
I sent you pictures to reinforce what I wanted.
Perfect. Yeah, you knew exactly what you wanted. You sent reference shots. That was awesome.
Be an asshole. Yeah. What did I do wrong? What would you have preferred?
You did it perfectly, man. Yeah. I mean, there's really nothing I would have done differently. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, occasionally, like, if you have an artist that they just don't feel like drawing something, like, which that wasn't the case here, but like, it's not personal. They just think that happens. Like, an artist just doesn't feel like drawing someone. Yeah. But the one thing I was going to say about sketch covers is, if you're requesting an artist to draw on them, take a lot of attention, or take notice of where the logo is and how much space it takes up. Because sometimes logos take up almost half a sketch cover occasionally.
Yeah.
And so if that's the case, and someone walks up and they want a full figure, Falcon from Avengers with a wingspan, that figure is going to be like this big. Right. So it's like that kind of thing has to really be thought of. Because a lot of people just be like, can I have the Hulk fighting Juggernaut? Full figure. And I mean, it's hard to fit that stuff on and still make it look good unless you want miniature sort of figures.
Right, right.
So that's one thing I would just advise to everybody. Yeah.
I will point out some sketch covers are front and back.
Yeah.
I'm kind of screwed in that respect for my G1 Love. All they've got are front covers.
Yeah.
But there are clean sketch covers. I wouldn't call this one clean, but there are clean ones where you can really utilize all the space. Yeah. Now, for a headshot, a torso shot, can we talk about what you charge on a sketch cover?
Yeah, a headshot is $30, a torso is $60, and then full figures run $100 to $120 depending on the figure and how much space. I feel bad charging someone more if they're getting like a real. There's not just that much drawing room.
Now, I would assume something this nuts.
Yeah.
This is an on-come basis.
That's more. Yeah, that's case-by-case basis. Yeah. Because like you wanted not only two figures, you wanted one huge figure, an environment, basically filling every inch of the cover.
Yeah.
So with something like that, it's case-by-case, and prices vary like across the board.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, I couldn't be happier with this.
Cool, man. Thank
awesome.
you. Yeah.
Any advice for anybody else that might want sketch covers? I think we hit the key points.
Yeah, I would say maybe just... Yeah, the biggest thing I'd say is like track down the type of logo you want, the border, and then think about that with your request, Like if you
it
really
seems like submitting too much information isn't a problem.
No, I mean, the more the better. I would say, here's the tip. Like, I would say don't micromanage the artist. It's fine to say everything you want up front. Like, what you do is perfect. But once they're drawing, I wouldn't hang around and be like, hey, can you change that? You know, like that. No one likes that. It's like... happy to do whatever you want.
That's an excellent point.
Yeah.
That's an excellent point. So. And I think having worked in the graphics industry for a blink of an eye, I kind of know that. So I guess that's why I didn't follow up with anything.
Yeah, no, and you were perfect. Yeah, I mean, you definitely knew what you wanted. It was spot on. Yeah.
Well, it's like, I know what I want and I know your style.
Yeah.
So I knew in my head this was going to be the result.
Well, it's good with yours, too, that you knew that would fit that space, too. Like, that's a busy commission, but it fits the space. Like, I didn't have to cram anything in. It's like that composition of the original piece sort of lend itself to that.
Yeah. No, I like how the dragons definitely... We're just seeing a window of what's about to go down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's awesome.
That's cool. Thanks, man.
So for anybody that wants to do a commission with you, be it a bust or be it more elaborate, how do we find you?
You can just email me. So my website, Instagram, contact me through any of those. Just LivioRamondelli.com is the website that has my email. My Instagram and Twitter, just my full name. So yeah, hit me up ahead of time. I ship out commissions all the time. So,
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'll make sure that stuff's in the show notes.
Yeah. Cool.
And thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.
Really nice
It's good seeing you.
You too, man. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching my interview with comic book artist Livio Ramondelli. Hopefully you learned a thing or two about commissioning a comic book sketch cover. I know I certainly did. If you liked what you saw, please click the subscribe and like button below, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.